Hello, my name is Crunk and welcome back to the World of Warcraft Warlords of Draenor beta. Having another look at Ashran today. However, today's video is going to be mainly about the rare elites and certain drops or rare drops that come around the island. So, let's get things started straight away with this rare. So the rare mobs here on Ashran actually do hurt quite badly. Luckily this one was mainly spellcaster and had a few nice little tricks up his sleeve, as you'll see where that massive kind of soul well that comes out, and now as I get hit away I get encased in a barrier and have to kill all of the soul binders before I'm let out. Luckily he wasn't too difficult. There are some much worse ones on the island that hit harder, and I noticed some of these scrolls and wands that drop. However, not everyone gets it, unfortunately. It's basically first come first served, unless you get the class specific ones like these were. So you saw the paladin and the mage one. I looted obviously the death knight one, which gives me a longer dark simulacrum. And also, any ability I steal from Dark Simulacrum, I can repeatedly use it unless it's a ability with a cooldown. For example, Divine Shield. If I steal Divine Shield from a paladin, then I can't just keep using it. I have to wait for the 5-minute cooldown that it has. However, there are some more rare class specific abilities, as you will see here as I scroll up. This legendary Book of Flight form, which is stupidly amazing for druids. They can now fly around for an hour with that book. So anywhere in Ashran, it is ridiculous. I would love to have something like that, but hey, druids seem to get some decent stuff at the moment. Now, not all the rare mobs in Ashran are actually hostile or aggressive. Some of them you have to actually click on or talk to or whatever. This one you have to rescue from the cage, and obviously the bright glowing thing kind of gives it away. This is an amazing buff. Basically what it does, it gives you a boulder shield that keeps accumulating more and more absorption the longer you leave it. I think later I end up making it go up to about 300,000, and so you absorb that much and it keeps ticking up while you're out of combat until I think it's about that much. It might be over 100% of your health, or maybe 90%, not the whole thing, but it keeps building up and it's really useful, especially because as it's in Ashran, if someone starts attacking you, like this rogue seems to try, but luckily I've got a feral with me, then I absorb all this damage. I don't take any damage for all this, or the majority of this battle, which the rogue obviously realizes and then just disappears. And there seems to be a lot of that happening actually in Ashran. A lot of rogues just going around trying to pick people off. But luckily I've figured out how to deal with them, unless they just run away like wusses that they are. Also here at the side I start showing off some of the things you can get from the quartermasters here at Ashran, as someone has linked it in some foreign language. And then I decide to mine because I get this. Treatise of mining in Draenor. I don't know if this is just a beta thing, it probably is, but it meant that I actually learnt all of the mining stuff up to 600. So that's all the stuff up to Pandaria, and it means now I could probably actually go to a trainer and do something decent with my mining. I'm quickly trying to mine it again, but there's nothing actually there anymore. So yeah, that's quite cool. And those things from the quartermasters I'll show you at the end of the video, because they're pretty cool. So now here is an example of a rare elite mob that is very difficult to kill, especially on your own, by the fact that they do insane damage. This one's in the Gorian Falls, and notice that I'm not taking any damage yet because I have my stone shield still up. He starts summoning shadowy shapes, and they end up doing a lot of magic damage, and he ends up hitting for a lot as well. Then he jumps up into the sky and throws down all these that explode each time, doing a massive amount of damage. And then if you get hit by one, you will probably die. So I think, okay, I'll be fine. I've managed to get this disc priest to heal me, and then he invites me to the group, which ends up being a whole raid group, and the priest actually fails me. In the end, he just drops the same kind of stuff as the last rare elite mob, and all the rare elite do drop similar items. Also, one of the nice things about the rare buffs that you can get, like the rock or boulder shield, is that they all persist through death, which is quite a nice touch, so you don't have to worry about dying too much. Now onto one of my favourite rare buffs that you can find here in the Molten Quarry. This guy gives you the leaping ability that allows you to leap 3 times. And it has a cooldown of about 5 seconds, even though it doesn't actually show you. So here I'm trying to jump around because I thought that infinite leaps. No, you get 3 leaps on a cooldown of maybe 5 to 10 seconds after you've used them. So this is really useful for PvP. Also lasts 20 minutes, which is quite nice, and all of these rare buffs do stack. It's really cool to change directions in midair. So you may be running around doing a bit of PvP, trying to kill someone, which actually happens here because the hunter starts attacking me. So with my shield on and also with the jumping buff, me and this rogue start attacking because rogues are everywhere. Honestly, they will just be with you all the time. So I decide to jump towards him. I do get stunned here, but I end up just getting out of it. And yeah, it's really useful, especially for druids, because they seem to be able to jump away all the time at the moment. And for any other class that has a speed buff, you can just basically keep jumping and eventually jump towards them really easily. Luckily, I managed to find the elusive rare mob which I had been searching for ages. It is the green slime, slippery slime. And basically, if you manage to click on it first, it has a very small hitbox, like this druid, cheating druid, because he's got a flight form, manages to click on. Then every so often you get a major burst of speed, which I think is 200%. So you basically run extremely fast for ages. That druid basically cheated because he could fly. Now, we're going to look at the Storm Shield quartermasters, who sell quite a lot of cool stuff. And so, first one, which you can buy with gold, is disposable pocket flying machine. And basically what this does is it just carries back all your ancient fragments back to the base and transfers them all into honor, depending how many you got. So here I only had 5 artifacts, so I would only get 5 honor for this. But it was actually capped at 4,000, so I couldn't. The next thing is the tabard, which actually looks really cool. A nice alliance blue, especially good with my gear at the moment. The Preserved Discombobulator raid, it basically dismounts the target and reduces their combat effectiveness, 25, but yeah. Proximity Alarmer Bot basically removes all people from stealth, which is really good for 50. Now this music box is quite interesting. It basically makes you hard to detect for within 30 yards of creatures. So it's basically like the shell that you can get off Timeless Island at the moment, the Scuttless shell. Then you've got the recorder, which actually brings wildlife to help you. These goggles are really cool, actually. Basically, they look quite stupid when you put them on. As you can see, it looks like some sort of engineering kind of thing. But when you actually target another player, you can see that they have a debuff, which basically says someone can see your loot, which means that they have artifacts on them. So yeah, it's quite useful. Now this is probably one of the most useful things, Swift Riding Crop. We basically just buy it for gold, it stacks up to 5, or 10 rather, and once you use it, you can just instantly mount up whenever you're out of combat, obviously. But it means no cast time. It's really useful. You can turn into a druid, except you can't fly. The next one is just a nice frost bomb that you can chuck on people, which will freeze them in place, so it can be a useful route. And then you've got the battle standard, which gives all players within a few yards or 45 yards a lot of versatility. And then you can buy another mount for reputation. So I'll skip forward to here and show off the relief flares, and as you can see, when you set one off, puts a nice marker on the map which everyone can see, and also gives you a loud kind of sound effect for you to realise. And actually someone else does one right behind me. It basically just alerts the whole of your faction where the enemies are and where the fights are. So, as you may have seen, I've picked up some various scrolls and wands when killing rare mobs, or just random drops, or from crates, etc. So now I'm going to show you what these do. So this first one, Wand of Neutralization, dispels all harmful magic, curse, disease and poison from all friendly targets within 15 yards. So, as you see, you get a massive kind of area of effect, and it does work, obviously. Otherwise, what's the point in having a game? This one's cool. Wand of Mana Stealing. Burns half the target player's total mana, restoring it to you. But yeah, it is really useful, especially when you're coming against the healer in Ashran. You can burn half of its mana, and I don't think mana regen is actually quite as good as it used to be. So this could be really, really useful. Last one that you can get is Wand of Lightning Shield. So it surrounds the target with electricity, dealing 53,023 damage to all nearby enemies surrounding that target within 8 yards, and lasts for 15 seconds. Now this is good, particularly if you use it in the stronghold here. Now onto the scrolls, because they're all the 3 ones that you can pick up. So the first scroll is just a portal out of wherever you are. It takes, I think, 10 seconds to cast, and you can have 5 of these scrolls. Likewise with any of these scrolls, you can have up to 5 of them, and it basically just teleports you back to your base. So it may either be the Storm Shield or War Spear, depending if you're Alliance or Horde, respectively. The second scroll is Scroll of Mass Invisibility, so it turns the caster and all nearby party and raid members within 25 yards invisible for 20 seconds. And onto the next one. Next one is the Scroll of Replenishment, so it regenerates 30% of mana over 8 seconds for yourself and allies within 25 yards. So not as useful being a melee class, but it also regenerates for people, for your allies around you. So I guess it does have some sort of use, despite the fact that you may not actually have mana. On to the next one. So the next one is Scroll of Speed. Increases you and all nearby friendly targets' movement speed by 70% for 8 seconds. Only one scroll of speed at a time, but I'm not sure whether or not it stacks with certain other abilities. But yeah, really useful, especially if you're all there going to just charge into a base. And finally, the last scroll, Scroll of Protection, reduces you and all nearby friendly targets' damage taken by 60% for 15 seconds. So basically, if you put all these on at the same time, you will be pretty much unkillable and unstoppable for maybe 15 seconds. But all of them together, and especially because they're quite frequent, especially if you go around and killing all the rare mobs around Ashran, or you go around looting strongboxes, because there are quite a few of them around. So that pretty much does it for all of the rares and rare items around Ashran. Obviously I didn't cover every single rare that there is and every single item. There are plenty more to find, but that sums it up. They're really getting me excited for Warlords of Draenor, because especially Ashran, I really want to get in there straight away as soon as possible. So, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.